Hello everyone and welcome. Today I'm going to work with this Simple Stories Vintage Floral Collection paper again. I had started working with it the other day and did the first 5 of Kendra's card challenge, and today I'm going to do 5 more working with it. And so I've got all the, everything cut. I used the cutting guides and cut it out I have it for all 15 of my cards. And today we're going to do 6 through 10. And I've just got everything ready, so we're just going to start assembling. My card base is off, so I'm going to trim it down. And I'm actually going to trim both sides. I noticed the sides was looking funny there. Anyway, so I trimmed it off, and this is one that you've got 2 pieces, the top and bottom, then you kind of put some stuff in the middle there. And so we're just going to get it laid down on here. This paper, it's got the wood grain on the back, but it's got all of it's like a green, kind of like a real light teal green, and it's got like all the, the tickets and the ledgers and bingo cards and stuff like that on it. And it's just real interesting paper. And I was just eyeballing, laying it down. I thought, well, I'll bring in that T-square and see if I was even close. And this one, you actually put the strips underneath that bigger square there. And I'm putting some glue on the sides of this and lining these up. And I've done it this way before and it worked out, but I've got them really uneven there, and I wind up putting them too low. I'm going to move the other one up to kind of match it. And I really put them too low because I should have the space between those little strips and then my mustard strip that I'm going to lay down on here. But because I put them low, they're going to be butt up next to each other. But that's okay because you can make it your own. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to lay this one on top of my brown, and it'll be fine. And then I've got my square that I'm going to lay on top of here, and I've got some of that brown pattern paper there that I love. And I'm just bringing in a scrap here to kind of level it off because we're going to go over the top of that other square, and I thought it would just help level it off a little bit. So we'll just put that down. Now we've got all of our pieces of our sketch together, and now we just need to embellish it. And I'm making a mess with the glue. I've got it all over my hands and all over my desk and all over the card. So that is sketch 6. And then I'm just bringing in the sheet. With that 12 by 12 pack, you get a sheet of stickers. And they're good and thick, and you can just add those. So I'm just going to bring in this kind of mustardy yellow colored flower. And I stick it down there, and then I don't like it, and I'll move it around and figure out what else I want to do with it. And I'm still debating, and I thought maybe I couldn't move it, but then I do decide to move it, and we'll add some things. I've got a butterfly here, and I was trying to figure out how I wanted to do it. So I moved the flower, and I'm going to, put it more center. And I think it looks really good with the yellow mustard colored paper, and it helps to tie that color in with the rest of the card. And then I'm going to lay a similar color butterfly down on there, and we'll find a sentiment that we can add to it with these strips. And we're just going to get that laid down on there. And I think it looks really pretty. So we'll move on to 7. And for this one, I didn't have the sketch in there. I don't know where it is. So I'm going to run and get the sheet. So I showed you the sketch really quickly there, and I just laid it aside so that I can eyeball it. Now this one has like a half cut circle die shape on it, but I'm not going to do that. I had something on that card base there. I'm going to get my pattern paper laid down there, and it's gorgeous. And we're going to have some more of the ticket journal looking paper there as well. And we'll get this piece on the bottom is like a hair narrower than the other 2 pieces. So when I get this laid down on there, I'll realize it, and then I'll wind up trimming them up just so they line up better. And this is where I'm looking at it, and I'm like, it's just a smidgen off, so I don't even measure. I'm just hacking off a little tiny strip there and then get it laid down. And then I'll do the same thing with this one because it was the one on the bottom that evidently was cut wrong. And so I'm going to cut these other ones so that they'll match, get them laid down on there. And then instead of bringing in a half circle, I was kind of looking at what I have and decided that I would bring in this big sentiment that's on here, this beauty, because it's kind of almost archy looking. It kind of has a bend to it. Anyway, so I decided to use that. And I'm just kind of going rogue on these sketches. And I'm going to grab another sentiment and just lay it down underneath there. I grabbed purple just to kind of go along with the beauty that I had. And then I've got this little gingham purple heart, and I thought that'd be cute to add on there. So that'll finish up 7. Then we're going to move right on to sketch 8. And I've kind of got it laying there, just like it would be for the sketch. But I've got to get a card base. I didn't have any card bases in the last few cards, so I'll make a card base. And then we'll get it laid down on there. And there's some more of that brown plaid paper that I love. I think it looks really pretty with the lighter colors as well. Just trim that up, and we're going to get this laid down on here. Now on the back of this, there were some large cut-aparts that you could have used, but they really would take up most of your A2 size cards, so I'd rather use the paper than those for my cards. If you needed a really quick card and you didn't want to do, anything to it, you could just cut one of those off and slap it down on a card base and you'd be good to go. Now this butterfly pattern is so pretty. Unfortunately, we're going to cover up most of it when we lay this other panel on there. And I'm just layering it on the little polka dot paper. And you can see it's got a bingo card on it. It's just such pretty paper. I've been enjoying working with it. Now here I'm taking my little piece there that was in the sleeve, and it's supposed to be a banner on this card. And I decided to go ahead and put the polka dot pattern on there again, so I'm going to have it face up. And we'll just tuck that up there. I actually was able to kind of line it up with the polka dots that were on the layer. And I thought that was fun. Now we've kind of got a good area to put something on here. So I'm just going to pull in my bicycle and get it laid down on there. I thought that would be pretty. We had enough room for it. And then I'm going to bring in another one of our hearts and just kind of put it down there in the corner. And then we'll just grab one of these sentiment strips. And there we go. These are just really fun spring cards. You could just use them as note cards or whatever. You could actually box them up and give them away as a set. Now I've got, I'm bringing in 2 more card bases here, and I'm scoring them up, and I'm going to get them for 9 and 10. And we'll just do both of them instead of keep dragging that in and out of the scene there. So there, we've got them both, and we can finish 9 and 10 now. And that piece there that I've got laying there is actually something that I had die cut out. And I save those a lot of times because I can use them for a backing layer and not be wasteful of my cardstock. That is Spellbinder's cardstock, and it is a little pricey, so I like to make the most of it. So we'll just get this laid down there. You can see there's another bingo card on the back of that. And I love this paper here. It has like a ledger on there. And we're going to get this laid down on there according to the sketch. And then instead of bringing in the 1/4 inch strips for this, I'm going to grab some of my Love from Lizzie strips and use them. So I'm just going to bring in my strips, and I'll just kind of go through there and see what I like. I've got some darker teal ones that I think will lay nicely on here. They'll kind of pop, and they'll add some shine. They're pretty shiny. And so instead of cutting down 1/4 inch strips of paper, I'm just going to use these, and they'll make a nice little shine to this particular card. So I'm just going to trim them down, and I'll lay that smaller piece back on that peel-off sheet because I can use it on projects when I need a smaller strip. And then I'll grab another full strip, and we'll get it laid down on the other side. And I don't cut this one quite as well. It takes a couple cuts to get it cut how I want it. And then we'll put the little strip back. Now we just need a focal point. There's like a oval on the sketch, but I'm going to bring in this pot, this tin, I guess, of, looks like blue hydrangeas to me. Now, I have a hydrangea bush in my yard, and last year it was pink. It had previously been green, but I had moved it, and when I moved it and put it in a different area, then it started to develop some pink flowers, which are lovely. But this one is blue. So I laid a little sentiment down there that had a little banner on it and was thinking about adding something else, but then moved on. Now this next sketch, this is sketch 10, and I don't know what I did when I was putting the stuff in the sleeve together, but I've got two panels that are the same size, and I don't realize it right off the bat until I glue this up and I go to lay it down, and I'm like, oh, it's not 4 1/4 by 5, it's actually the same size. And I'm like, what am I doing here? So I'm going to pull it off, and this sketch, I really make it my own, because I mean, I'm going to deviate quite a bit on this particular sketch here. So I'm going to bring it down to 3 3/4 by 5, and then we'll get it laid down on the card base, the cardstock layer, I should say. And I'm having trouble with this glue press. I don't know if the temperature or what changed in the room, but all of a sudden it's giving me problems. I did fill it the other day so that it's full, but I can't seem to get any glue out. And the initial press, I can get some out, and then I can't get it out again. So I don't know, maybe I need to take the cap off and just clean it all out. So then here's where I deviate. I don't want all of that wonderful pattern paper to be covered up that's on there with this panel. And so I thought, I'm going to lay these down on there oddly. I'm just going to put them to one edge, and then I'm going to cut this down quite a bit. And these strips were actually supposed to be underneath this particular panel according to the sketch, but like I said, I'm going to make it my own, and I'm just going rogue with it, and I'm just going to do my own thing. So I'm going to cut it off, and I'm figuring out how much I'm going to cut off, and then I'm going to cut off that much on the sides of it as well. And then we'll lay it down on here. And we've got the pieces of pattern paper on here, but we don't have them laid as according to the sketch, but that's okay. I'm going to do my own thing. And I think it shows off the brown pattern really well, and we can still see some of that beautiful pattern paper that's below there. And for this one, I'm just going to bring in this table with the floral elements, and I think that looks pretty on there. And I'm going to bring in a green butterfly. And that finishes off the 5 cards for today. So here's the ones we did, and then the previous ones we did. And we've got a nice set. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.